Hey everyone, welcome to All About the Joy. This is Culture and Consequence with Carmen and Andrea. There was this guy on TikTok, I forget his name, but he's really popular. It doesn't matter, but he's like, honey, you need to blend. Like you gotta blend it in. And he was like showing him. And then he was like, he had the picture next to him. And he's like, look at this line here. Blend, honey, blend. It was so funny. I was dying.
Yeah, that was probably one of the funnier signs I saw from No Kings was like, he can't even blend his own makeup.
I know.
That's how incompetent he is.
Even his, and I know this is fucking petty shit. Oh, by the way, I've gotten quite a few emails about my swearing. And you're swearing. I know. I didn't even put those in the list of questions we're going to answer because I'm like, listen, let me just say straight up, this is going to be a swearing episode even more because I'm pissed. But if you don't know us by now, we are people who swear. And the emails are stupid. Like they're just stupid. You're wasting time. Like, whatever. It doesn't make me feel bad. It empowers me to swear even more, you fucktards. Like, so I'm so over it. Anyway.
I mean, we touched on this once before too, right? Like there's actually studies that say people who swear more are more intelligent. So I'm just putting that out there. Speaking of stupid.
It's just a weird ism. Like it's a weird thing to tell someone not to do something that they're just going to end up doing over and over again. Like, do you not know psychology at all? And if you're you're pearl clutching, is that what they say? Then you shouldn't be watching this show. I'm not trying to move people away from the show, but it's a weird ism to be complaining about. You're not no one's forcing you.
And this is the way that we talk with each other. That doesn't mean that we're walking around like at the grocery store and the post office, you know.
I am. No.
Why am I still in fucking line, bitch? Go. I mean, like, that's not what we're doing.
I think that's the other part of it too, right? I'm using it as a exclamation point or whatever. You know what? I don't need to fucking
look, you know what?
I don't give a fuck.
It's a way to blow off some steam. It's a way to like be emphatic about something. And we have a lot of steam to blow off. We have a lot of things to be emphatic about.
All right, let's get to our topics, whatever. Because that's normally what we do when we're on the phone. Andrea, it's time to talk about our topics.
These are the 4 things that I had for us to discuss today. I have my research ready to go. So let's start.
I know. So I think first I should say that we are 23 days into still the government shutdown. I think that's an important thing to just remind people in case you do not know. And we were going to talk about the White House demolition situation. And I'll let you go first. I don't know.
I really thought I've been thinking about this really all week because I knew that we were going to talk about it. And I'm just like, I got nothing. Like, what can you fucking say? This is the craziest motherfucking shit I have ever motherfucking seen. Like, we have thoroughly established that I am like the least patriotic American on the planet, right? Never will I do any of the symbolic shit. I will never have a flag, wear a flag. I don't even stand up for the song.
The national anthem.
Yes, I sit. I'm like, fuck that. No, I don't salute the flag. I don't do the Pledge of Allegiance. When I was a teacher, I'm just saying, I didn't have my kids do the Pledge of Allegiance. So anyway, my point
was that something required here in LA? Really?
Yes, it was. It is. Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter told me that they had to do it at school once a week. And I was like, I'll write you a note, girl. Cause, but she was like, oh no, it's fine.
I just want everyone to know that I don't have the same feelings.
She doesn't have the same feelings. I'm just saying I am establishing the fact that I don't do the symbolic shit.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Seeing what is happening at the White House has fucking broken my heart.
Yeah.
I'm actually embarrassed about how upset I am about it.
That's actually awesome. I love it. That's good.
I mean, like, there's the, like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah.
First of all, of course, it's the East Wing, where the First Lady's offices are, established primarily by Eleanor Roosevelt. So there's all this history there. And as you mentioned in the start, like, this is all somehow happening in the midst of a government shutdown.
Mm-hmm. No. We need a ballroom, though.
We do need a ballroom. We do need a ballroom. And I mean, just on the most basic level, try adding in some new, like, plumbing or an addition to your house and see how fucking long it takes you anywhere in this country. Like, right. It's just, I don't really have articulate words. I have a lot of swear words that I could throw out, which I already have, but, like, I don't even know. I don't know. And. Why aren't like the press and like the like, why are people just fucking screaming about this? I just don't.
Well, I do think people are, like, I just turned off the news and they've been talking about it like ad nauseum at this point, because our attention span is so small, but they are, because now the pictures are out, right? Because they tried to barricade what was happening, which is so weird in this day and age of, like, drones and everything else, but they're able to see the actual destruction, and they're showing live shots of that happening. And the destruction, the complete demolition of the East Wing will be done by Sunday. Then it's mostly already down. I mean, I was just watching it. And so I'll say the opposite part. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about why this matters in even a bigger way. Because I think what's more important here, look, it's a fucking building. I'm okay. Like, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. There are people who are still being taken by ICE. There are other things right now to me that are more important. But I will say this. It is not what is happening literally that's bothering me. It's all the people who are justifying it and all the people who keep supporting him, even though he is straight up lying to you again. And here's the difference. Look, I went and pulled, because you know me, I went and pulled all of the times that the White House has been redone, reconstructed, where things have been demolished and fixed or whatever. I did, because I wanted to see. I wanted to understand what the hoopla was. There's so many reasons why this is bad. And before you start talking about Barack Obama changing the tennis courts to a basketball court, that's just bullshittery. He did do that, but he did it through the actual commission, and he talked to the art historians, and he went through, it takes like a year to even have that conversation. Let me just say one thing that's really important here. I just want you to see all the notes I took on this fucking bullshit. Okay? Because you know what, like you, okay, so here's the difference. I am extremely patriotic. I always have been. I love my country. And one of the things we were going to talk about later, but we'll just infuse it here, is one of the things about the No Kings protests that happened on Saturday. I was lucky to go to two. There was one here near my apartment where I stepped out of my house. It was right there. And then I went and checked out another part of Los Angeles. And that is what makes America great. That's what we're missing, is the hopefulness, the optimism, the joyfulness, the happy, that is the part that makes America great. And I don't care what you think about Barack Obama, but that moment when he was elected, everybody had that feeling. Well, except you fucktards again, the fucktards. I'm just going to start calling you guys the fucktards. Yeah. But we're missing, that's what we're missing, is that joy and that happiness. So what's happening at the White House right now, and the reason why it matters, is because he didn't go through the right processes. No, and this idea that he keeps telling everyone that we need, I want you to hear this. We need a ballroom. Nobody needs a ballroom. We don't need a ballroom, but he keeps saying that. And let me just give you some stats here. So a football field is 57,600 square feet. Okay, 57,000 square feet. Let's just leave it there. The White House itself is 55,000 square feet. The White House itself, okay? The East Wing that he just demolished is 60,000 square feet, okay? So it's a little bit bigger than the White House. This ballroom that he's going to build is 90,000 square feet. So that's a football field and a half. It's going to dwarf the actual White House. There is no commission, right? There is no, what's it called? It's the National Capital Planning Commission, the GSA, which is the Government Services Admission, and usually the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, who will turn around and work with the president to preserve the history of the place, to help come up with the right plans. He is building this bullshittery without doing any of that. And he keeps saying it's not going to cost the taxpayers any money. First of all, bullshit. And secondly, why do we want corporate? Like, if we want a fucking ballroom, we should pay for it. But he knows we don't want a ballroom. So instead, all of these fucking corporations are going to end up having their names slapped all over the ballroom. And I'll end with this little part. I hope, because it's not going to be done for 4 years. It might. They think it's going to be done in 4 years because whatever. But this is another little indication that he thinks he ain't motherfucking leaving that place. Yeah, for sure. But I'm gonna say when President Newsom or President whoever the fuck is next, because I think that's where we're going, or the guy from Chicago. What's the guy's name from Illinois? Pritzker. I don't care who it is.
Yeah,
president next in line, who we know is going to be a white male. It's true.
Hopefully, we have a Nazi tattoo.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh my God, who had the Nazi tattoo?
Well, we don't even have to go there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I said the other day, and I wasn't kidding, I can't wait for that motherfucking ballroom to be rededicated to Barack Obama. I just think that would be like the fucking
Barack and Michelle Obama.
I know, right?
National
and they'll make it into like all offices or sciences or whatever. Like I'm just hoping that's what happens.
They just let inner city DC schools have proms there.
Exactly. It's like fucking make it like just the place where like community happens, like, and just take. I mean, all the gold in that office is so disgusting.
Yeah, he just wants it to be like like somebody with golden poop shit all over it, and that's.
I know, it's so weird. So yeah, I just I was shook by the football field analogy because it made more sense to me when I realized like it's going to also dwarf the White House completely, and it's going to be ugly.
I mean, speaking of hope, as you said,
that's not Gavin's style. They don't like that.
I can only hope that we never get to the point where we have to see all the gold shit, and that it's I mean, I don't know what you do when it's already I don't know.
It's demolished already. So
no, I'm talking about the ballroom itself. Like, oh
yeah.
I'm hoping that he will be gone one way or another before it's finished, before we get to the gold leaf stage, and that it's not ever completed.
Right. Well, some professionals were saying there's no way, like even on the best of schedules, there's no way it would be completed in 4 years. But there'd have to be like no delays, no issues, and that rarely happens. But
people are already suing.
No, I'm sad. But you know what? I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's nice to hear you say that it did kind of break your heart to see it.
It did. It really did. And there's sort of the metaphor of it all. Like, he's just doesn't give a shit going in and destroying our cultural heritage and everything that kind of the country is supposed to stand for, all of those kinds of things. You know what I mean? There's just a lot to it. And I again just go back to like, what will it take? Is there anything this person can do that will actually get people to be like, oh shit, that's far?
Well, I mean, and that goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about. I didn't put it on the list, but it's kind of like, I'm not even mad at Trump, because Trump is like a child on so many levels to me. Like he's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. But at some point people say, no, you cannot do that. I'm more upset with all these motherfuckers who are in office and know better, who are not stopping him at all. at all. You know, I say this with no respect whatsoever. Mitch McConnell, who is 83 years old, who fell the other day in the Russell Senate building, you know, I'm like, this is also the other part of it. Mitch McConnell, I blame for most all of the bullshittery we are in today. I don't even blame Donald Trump, because he was the first person that when Barack Obama became president was just like, our only job is not to let him be reelected again. He had already started this bullshittery. You know what I mean? I'm tired of old people. I said it. Old people, you need to stop thinking you can be in office forever. You're 83 years old. You can barely speak and you're fucking bumbling around the goddamn. I know people are mad at me. I don't care. I don't have a big constituency of old people on my show.
The ego on these people is shocking. Really.
Look, there are some things I can't do anymore. And like, there are things I cannot do anymore. I cannot stay up past 9. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Although in all fairness, we all know I've never been able to stay up.
I'm like, that's not new, people.
It's like, I'm so early, but I really can't. I can't pull all-nighters. I can't. There are things I can't do, so you work around that. You don't force yourself to do it anyways because you're going to make bad decisions. But it's like Nancy Pelosi, all these motherfucking people, like, enough already. Move the fuck on. Yeah, ageism. We're probably going to get slapped with some type of something on YouTube. Ageism.
I mean, remember, I know you remember, and this is really sad, but like, remember several years ago, there was an old guy, apparently really lovely family man, who drove his car into the farmer's market and killed people?
Yeah.
Take the motherfucking keys away, people. Like, there are things you cannot do anymore. You need to be at home enjoying your grandchildren or watching Jeopardy or whatever the fuck old people do. Be in your garden, walk your dog. I don't know.
We're going to be old soon too. So. But look at,
I got my chickens. I'm ready to go.
I know. Andrea has chickens, for those who don't know. That's a whole other story. We're not talking about it now because I'm done with that shit. But anyways, but here's my thing is, like, I think it's because we demonize getting older on every level. So getting old means XYZ in this country. And it's like, oh, you need to get like 15 facelifts and look like you're 10 when you're actually 58 or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you have to keep looking as young as possible, as youthful as possible, because being old sucks. And I think that's part of the problem. Yeah. But we need term limits or something, because I want Gen Z, I want millennials, I want young people in office. I want young people in office.
Yeah, this ain't it. These people are going to be dead in 5 years.
They're walking around dead now.
Well, and then it's like they're making decisions that affect the lives of people who cannot access power because they are in the way.
Yeah, and they don't know. And I'm kidding around about the ageism thing, but I know this is what this is coming across. I just think that if you are not a person who has compassion and empathy, this is what you do, because it's all about your ego. It's all about you. But these people do not know the internet. They don't understand AI. They don't understand technology. They don't know what TikTok is. And they're just bullshitting their way through. And when have we ever been okay with allowing people to bullshit their way through? Don't talk about this current administration. I'm just saying, like, in anything that you do, would you be like, oh yeah, that astronaut bullshitted their way through, let's just let them do it? You know what I mean? But for some reason, in fucking every political thing we do in Congress or whatever, we allow these people who are clearly not with it, walking around the halls of Congress, falling all over the place, their aides picking them up, speaking for them. Like, you're voting for them then. You're voting for them then. You're not actually being represented. Your constituencies are not being represented by who they voted for, you know? And it's like, it's just, I'm so sick of it. But I think that's also part of the problem.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, there's enough rage to go around for sure. You know, I don't let Donald Trump off at all. But yes, there's a lot of enabling from all kinds of people who have their own agendas, right? They have their own reasons for wanting to be close to power, trying to get their own foot in the door so that they can have their day in the sun. I mean, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm over it. All right. Let's answer some questions. I'm done.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I didn't pick any of the bad emails that we seem to keep getting about
We already
swearing.
addressed the swearing. So
The swearing thing. Yeah, that was one. There was another one that was kind of nasty, but it was more like funny. I was like, okay, she's married and I'm not interested. Is basically the answer to that. I was like, you weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it in the green room. All right, so these are 2 emails we got. So we'll do the first one and I'll let you. Wait, did we finish everything we were going to talk about with those 2 things? Yeah, okay.
No kings.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I kind of just said it because I kind of just said it like that was the good part for me about No Kings was just, and it was kind of heartwarming. There were a couple of instances here where some Trump supporters were trying to start something, and the police, like, they just pulled up on a motorcycle. No, this was the horses. They just came up with the horses and like just looked at them, and they just turned around and walked away. Like. So that was kind of an interesting thing because it was really peaceful everywhere around the country and around the world. It was a peaceful event. Kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I did not attend. I was at a family birthday party with
whatever. She does not love our country.
It was lovely. As I said last time, you have to find your joy in different places. But I had fun at my birthday party. But
wait, your birthday?
Not my birthday party.
I was like, no, okay, I know.
No, it was my cousin's daughter's 4-year-old. So it was a sweet little kid birthday party. And
listen, your priorities are your priorities. I care about our country, so I am dedicated to the cause. No, okay. You know what's so funny? You're usually the one out there protesting. This is how we know we in trouble. Because when do I protest? Never.
I'm out there at the ICE protest. But I didn't go.
I don't protest, so you in trouble, girl.
Yeah,
we in trouble.
No, but I just want to say that it's like, as someone who didn't participate live, it was really nice to kind of come back at the end of the day and look and see, number one, how many people participated and how many places.
Over 7 million.
I love seeing like the small towns where they're like, we have 300 people in this town and 150 were out there, like I love that. And it just gives you hope. And I think, a lot of people who say whatever they say about these protests, I think it is important to see that many people who are like, okay, yes, this is the United States. This isn't France where we, it's very concentrated and we can like shut down the entire capital or whatever. But we can all come out and actually say we're not all right with this. And I think it does give a lot of people hope.
And I'm going to say something else that's going to piss off a lot of people because that's what I do nowadays. Culture and consequence, Carmen pissing everyone off. It was also a sea of white people. And I loved to see it. And I have to say, especially because I live here and there's not a huge population of people of color, it was beautiful to see thousands of people. And I'm like, oh my God, this is my entire neighborhood. Like, it was just amazing to see that. So it was beautiful. It was very American. That is what you do as an American when you disagree with something. You protest and you let your voices be heard. And anyone who thinks otherwise is a fascist. I don't know how else to say it. Is that clear?
That sums it up well. Huh? I said, I think that sums it up well.
I think that sums it up well too. So, all right, let's get to our questions. Okay, so the first one, should I say the person's name?
No, well, okay. Maybe the first name?
I won't say their name. Okay, this is from somebody from Chicago, and they said, you talk with a lot of clarity, but I gotta ask, how do you deal when folks you love just don't see things the same way, like real disagreements, not just debates, but stuff that hits deep? How do you keep the peace without losing yourself?
So I saw that question and I thought about it for a little bit. Like, I don't have anyone in my life who I have those kinds of strong disagreements with. I mean, I think that there probably are some people in my extended family who I don't really have any real relationship with who are probably Trump voters, but I don't.
Okay, but I'm going to bring up something. Sorry, I'm going to put you out on this, but you have people you've had to work with in different states
yes,
who are avid Trump supporters, because I remember you calling me. And so how did you deal with that as a professional? Maybe we could
Well, as a professional, I'm there to do a job, and I have a certain approach that I take to that job. And so I tend to look at it as like, all right, if I sort of, infuse my philosophy really and my approach into this person, maybe that's helpful. Like I'm not going to have any kind of political discussion with anyone at work. It's certainly not in the context that I'm working with them, but I feel like I just try to use the skills that I have to work with them. And as I said, to just use my approach to things and explain my reasoning, which is all a part of my, own personal philosophy that I live by and that I, the way that I work. So that's really the way that I deal with it, is just almost like modeling, I guess would be the best way to say it.
I've had experiences with people in my life. I have family members who are Trump supporters or were Trump supporters. I don't know what they believe now, but, and so I'll give you an example of what happened. I posted something on Facebook years ago during the first administration, and a family member went off on me, and I blocked them and then had a full-on conversation with them. And my whole thing is like, I don't care what you believe. It's my Facebook page. I didn't call you to have a conversation about it, because I know what you believe. You know what I mean? So, and we've rectified, or we've reconciled since then. And I think you know who I'm talking about. But I think it's hard because, especially when you love someone, like you love them, and in your heart of hearts that there's nothing you can do to dissuade them. They have to believe and do what they need to do and find their bumps away, along the way. It's the same thing with the Palestinian-Israel thing. For those of you who don't know, I was married to an Israeli. So I have a different viewpoint because of that side of the family of the Israeli situation. And then to hear the kind of hatred or the anger towards Palestinians for me is really hard. I have compassion and empathy for the Palestinian people. I think you can hold more than one thought at a time. You know what I mean? But if you're going to be so vile and so angry and so pissed off, I don't want to talk to you because I can't relate, and I ain't going to change your mind. And it's kind of the same thing with the Trump thing. First of all, I'm not going to ask you your opinion because I don't want to know your opinion. If I want to have a conversation with you, I will reach out. But I already had an inkling. You know what I mean? But if you're going to confront me, I will confront your ass. I've done it at work too. Like, here's the thing. I work with people who have property and relatives in Texas. I tell people this all the time. I have conversations with people all the time. And I'm like, here is my point of view. You can believe what you want, but we're done with this now. One of my clients, I think I told you, was trying to get me into, because he wanted to fight. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, you can tell when somebody's just like, I want your opinion, I want to talk to you about it, or it kind of slips or something. Or whereas it's somebody's trying to instigate a fight. And when he was trying to instigate a fight, I was like, that's not what you hired me to do. And then I just close off. Because I got my check, because I get paid a month before my actual work. I ain't stupid about that shit. I will walk away. And that's what I threatened him with. I think I'm very confrontational that way. I think what I hate most, Andrea, is people who say, I don't do politics. Well, politics is doing you, bitch. Like, right. I don't care if you don't do politics. It's happening to you. And that's exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. And I don't give a fuck, you people who are like, stop using Hitler. He's not Hitler. Yes, this is how it starts. This is how it happens. This is exactly the trajectory. I had to study in school his fucking Mein Kampf book, right? Did you read that too? Like, you just need to read it. Read, people, read.
Hitler built a ballroom too, by the way. Just saying.
Yes. But they don't, you know what it is? That's what I'm saying, is like, when people don't talk, I wish people would stop talking about what they don't know. You don't have to know everything about politics. That's very different. You don't have to know or whatever, but don't act as if it's not happening to you. And you not wanting to talk about it or not having an opinion on it or not having any oomph to it is not acceptable in what we're doing today and what's happening it's not. You may disagree with me, but I think it's absolutely not okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, like you have opinion about your life, right? Do you have opinions about your healthcare costs? Do you have opinions about how much your food costs? Do you have opinions about how easy or difficult it is for you to vote? I mean, it all counts. Like you said, it's doing you, you know?
It is. I get annoyed. I understand that not everyone's going to be confrontational like me, and I'm not saying anyone has to be. I do it because I don't have anything to fear, and I'm not saying other people do. I'm like, I'm not asking anybody their opinion about politics. Like, I'm not going to go up to someone and be like, you know what, I was thinking, can we have a conversation about politics? I've never done that with anybody. But if you jump in my DMs,
feeling about the Black Lives Matter protests, let's discuss.
Yeah, poke the bear, right? I'm just saying, if you jump and tell me something, I'm going to come back with facts. And I think that's the other part too that pisses me off about people, especially people I know who talk too much about politics and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There is a difference between facts and opinion. So let me give you a fact and then let me show you an opinion, okay? A fact is we breathe in air as human beings to live. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. It might be your opinion that we breathe in hay, but that's an opinion. That's not a fact. I don't know where I'm coming up with hay. I think I'm thinking of the cattle ranchers who are having a really hard time after they voted for Donald Trump. That was all over the news today too. Whatever. But I know like, so many people will try to say, well, that's your opinion. No, fact over here. I am never spewing an opinion unless I tell you, you know what, this is my opinion, girl, you know?
Yeah.
And I have to say it exactly like that. No. But I think that's the other part of it too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's from the start. We didn't even talk about this, but I think from the start of this podcast, we both came with our research because we know we have our opinions and we're like, okay, well, if we're going to talk about that, I need to make sure that I've got some data behind it. Right?
Like I don't have a reference for fucktards. I don't. Like that's my opinion. You know what I mean? Like that's not, I mean, it could be a fact, but it's not. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that's the other part of it too is I think people, and this might be a lot of the Democrats' fault, by the way. Everybody should vote. Everybody has to vote. No, everyone should learn of what's going on. Like, I know. I would get slammed by the Democratic Party, but I think there's that other part of it. Like, everybody should be registered, and everyone should. And I think if you're part of this, what once was a magnificent possibility, because it isn't to me anymore, right? I hope we can see the kernels of it through the protests or whatever, but you should be at least basic level understanding of how it works. You should know what the Senate is, what the House of Representatives are. You should know who the Supreme Court justices are, at least what they do. You should know who represents you in the House of Representatives. You know, you should be able to name the president, the vice president. I don't know what I like the Secretary of State. Do you know who the secretary? He's such a fucking idiot.
Sadly, I do.
Yeah, sadly, I do know who that is. Right. I just like you should be able to have if you, here's a good one. I didn't know we were going to go here, but I'm on fire now. Okay, wait. You should be able to pass the same test every immigration person who comes into this country has to pass to become an actual citizen. And I'll tell you right now that everyone that you keep thinking is a quote unquote illegal status human being in this country probably knows more about politics than you do. They might know it in Spanish, but
Almost
they would know more about this country than you do.
Because they have to. In order to navigate it. 100% agree.
All right. Well, I hope we answered that question. Did we? We went a little off topic. I know we answered it. Okay. For Darnell or whatever person from Chicago. Okay. Ready for the next one?
Yep.
Okay. This one is from your state, Iowa. Didn't you go to Iowa?
My state.
Not your state. Weren't you in Iowa? I don't know. I
did some work in Iowa.
Oh, yes. That's what I call it, your state.
My state.
You're embracing Iowa. Andrea's from Iowa. She's not.
She is not.
Okay. I love how you both dive into politics without sounding like cable news. Oh my God, that's hilarious. But I'm curious, where do you get your information from? Are there specific journalist outlets or even podcasts you trust to help you cut through the noise? That's a great question. Do you want to go first, Andrea?
I will say I do not watch any news on television and I don't listen to any news podcasts at all, except this one.
Except this one. Okay.
So I have over the years curated kind of people that I follow. I think I follow maybe like 50 people. And that's generally where I get my news sources from. Also, I read a lot of books. So big fan of the library. So yeah. I get into a lot of books. For local news, I'm really loving LA Taco right now. They used to be like, where to get the best tacos in LA, which is essential information. Absolutely, 100%. And, over the years, it started to morph into more of a news organization. And definitely since all of the ICE raids happened, that's basically all they're doing at this point. Yeah. But there's, let's see, a couple that I really love. I may not get the pronunciation correct. So there's Elie Mystal. Mm-hmm. He writes for The Nation and on criminal justice and con law. Anytime there's a Supreme Court case, he, writes about it, definitely during like oral arguments and things like that. I also want to say that if I am reading an article, which is sort of by definition an opinion piece, right? You're getting information interpreted through someone. I will always try to go to the source. So if it's a case or something like that, I will actually go and read the case so that I can kind of form my own opinion in addition to reading sort of what someone's saying about it. Talia Lavin, and she's written a couple of books. Her most recent one is Wild Faith, about Christian nationalism. And then what's the other one? Culture Warlords, about white nationalism.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Same author.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
I have not read the second one she mentioned.
Yeah. I like Jacob Soboroff from MSNBC.
Okay, everybody loves Jacob Soboroff, and he is an incredible journalist, and he's been handling. I'm sorry, I had to interject because I love him.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
He should get whatever he's getting in the future, Pulitzer, whatever it is, because what he's been doing for this country, is incredible. And he's been handling all the ICE raids, not handling, but he's been dealing with all of the people who are suffering through all this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And he's an LA guy, so we love him. Local reporting as well. I follow a couple of journalism professors because I think that's really helpful because they are like journalists with a capital J and are very interested in fair reporting and things like that. So there's this guy Bill Gruskin, another guy Jay Rosen. So those are there's a lot of others.
Well, you said it 50, so I'm like, we're not going through the whole 50.
Yeah, like Ben Ehrenreich, who is Barbara Ehrenreich's son.
Oh,
Barbara Ehrenreich wrote
that's so weird.
A fantastic book, Nickel and Dimed, which was turned into a play, which was starred in by our esteemed hostess. So yeah, he does some writing.
I was in the theater production of Nickel and Dime. Right. Oh, I didn't realize that was the connection there. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's a handful of others. Another a couple that I want to mention is Nicole Hannah-Jones, who was the creator of the 1619 Project, which is a book, a podcast, a show on Hulu, and all, it's a curriculum, all of that. Really, really important work there. And one of my sort of longtime favorites, who's passed on now, David Graeber.
Why are we bringing him up if he's passed on?
Well, I'm just saying he's written some great books. He wrote a book called Debt, the first 5,000 years. He wrote another book called Bullshit Jobs. He was he was in the Occupy Wall Street movement and all that kind of stuff. But anyway.
So I agree. I think what I want to say, and thank you for doing that list because I think it's an important thing. But here's what I want to share. People are no longer following networks or newspapers. Like this idea that the New York Times is like, this is a fight I've had with so many people, that the New York Times is the be all. No, it's not. And it hasn't been for years. And then I'll get the argument from people like, oh, but they have so many resources. Yes, just because you have money and resources does not make you a good human being, person, or corporation. So a lot of people, especially in the older generation, but even in our generation, are still fixated on this idea that you need to follow organizations and corporations. And you cannot do that anymore, nor do you need to. Most of the great journalists right now are independent and are on Substack, and they're really shining. And so I'm going to name some names so I follow a professor as well, and he has written for the New York Times, but I love him, Eddie Gallad Jr. He's amazing. Oh, yeah. He is definitely what you would say more left-leaning, but he also comes with receipts. Also has written a great book on Baldwin. You know what I mean? Like we can go down the list of that, but he's one of my favorites because he's so passionate and his empathy is off the charts, just about everything in the world. I'm going to name some other people that she will cringe up, but Tim Miller from the Bulwark, he is a Republican who I know. I'm giving people other options.
I have read some of his stuff.
He's actually really good. He's a staunch Republican who has now like completely thrown his hat into like he's a never Trumper though. There's no doubt about it. But he does come to it from a different point of view, and I really like listening to him. He's also very calm. He's very calm. Nicole Wallace, I talked about her before. I like listening to her. She's also a former GOP person. She worked for George W. Bush. I catch her show once in a while on MSNBC because I'm usually working when it's on live, but I do like to catch her. And I'm going to name some other possibilities because these names. There are people who have walked away from network television, from cable network, because they either got fired, like Don Lemon, and what's the other guy? Costa, I forget his name, Jim Costa from CNN. He was being regulated from his Saturday show to like a Sunday night show. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm done. They have been unleashed on Substack. And it is an incredible thing to watch. And you start to realize how constrained all of these journalists are because they work for these big companies, unless they have the kind of power of like a Rachel Maddow or a Nicole Wallace. You know what I mean? But it's fascinating to now see them unleashed. And I'm not saying you have to follow them or whatever, but if you want to see what the difference is with some names of people you used to, maybe you've heard of them before, and now see them on their own, it's cray-cray. It's crazy, awesome, fun. I think Don Lemon is now, I never used to like him. Now I'm like, okay, that's a journalist. Like it's an incredible thing. And he's doing a lot of opinion too. There's no doubt about it. I also wanted to give a shout out to if you're going to go for organizations that are newspapers, like I do get alerts from specific places, and then you do your investigative stuff yourself. But the best ones, as far as I'm concerned, and they are more center, they're more in the middle, they're not left-leaning, Reuters, the Associated Press, and the BBC. Those are the ones that I get news alerts from. And I think that they still are more center and they're less, I think everything's an opinion. I think this idea that journalism was ever some objective bullshittery is why we're in the trouble we're in now. But you do get both sides, and you do get just information. I'm going to plug two more things. If you want to double check things, and this is actually free, you can get a subscription, but you don't need to. It's AI. Perplexity AI is this is how I'm explaining it. I am not an AI expert. It's how I'm explaining it to regular folk. Perplexity AI is just a fantastic, bumped up, more impressive Google search. And what they do is within seconds, not only give you the information you're looking for, but also give you all the references at the bottom. And that's what I love, because then I can go and check, oh, wait, where did they get this information from? So that's also a good way to double check your sources if you want to. But remember, AI is not always perfect. So you want to go double check your sources. But Perplexity AI is one of my favorites right now. And the last thing I'll say, whether you like Rachel Maddow or not, the thing about Rachel Maddow that I would encourage everyone to watch at least once is her ability to not just storytell. She's a great storyteller, but how she builds a story for you to understand what's going on. So when it comes to historical things, war things, whatever it is, like she is on point and she always has that legalese and that ability. You want to not always follow people because of their ideology. Like that's why I used to listen to Sean Hannity and, Larry Elder and all these people, not because I believed in what they said, but because I wanted to learn why they were saying what they were saying. What was their evidence behind it? Be curious. Be a human being who wants to know the layers. And then you can speak from a place of knowledge and not just your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important point here. I mean, I named off a bunch of people. I'm fully aware that is a bubble, right?
No, but that was the answer. I mean, that was the answer to the question. Who do you?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, I understand that I'm not looking at sources who are even really that center, much less more to the right. So I understand that the news I'm getting, the information that I'm getting is filtered through a certain lens. And that's why I mentioned, and you mentioned, like going to the source material so you can read it yourself and form your own opinion. I think it's still valid and a perfectly good thing to do, to go ahead and read the full article and hear what people are saying and how it's being framed. But understand it is being framed.
I think that's the problem, right? Is people will say, oh, no, I don't want, like, first of all, there's no grandiose thing in saying you don't listen to network news. Like, I don't know why that's become a thing. I don't watch network news. Well, somebody's fucking watching it. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not what the issue is. You getting your resources from YouTube videos, also problematic. So you telling me that you watch YouTube videos is not an answer to how well informed you are, because I don't know you don't have to listen to us either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, anybody can buy a mic and have a camera and tell you whatever they want with a forceful way of saying it. I know the power of my voice. I know that I can tell people a fucking lie and they'll believe it. Here's the difference, though, is first of all, I would never do that because I have empathy and compassion. I would never use my power for bad or ill will. But just understand that just because somebody screams it or says it loudly or has a mic and has a computer and looks really pretty, or you think they're hot or whatever it is, that does not mean that they are legit or that they are right or that they are on point. Where are their resources? Can you find 3 other places that say the same shit? This is why every time somebody dies, like I got the notification that Robert Redford died. I was like, nah, that didn't happen. You know what I mean? I got 3 other sources because I was not believing nobody. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what you have to start doing as a person in this day and age with all the technology and all the information at your fingertips. You need to be that into it. If you're going to spew that shit out of your mouth, you need to be that into it. That you figure it out. You get
critical thinking, right?
Let me just say, I'm having a great conversation on Sunday. So please come visit. And we talk all about critical thinking with an educator and somebody who is trying to transform the education system, doing more of a hybrid model of using school and in-home teaching. And we talk about critical thinking. So that was a great segue.
I didn't even know about that. So
girl, that was good. Yeah. So check that out on Sunday in the private lounge at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Andrea, thank you. That was a fun conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks everyone. Remember, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.